My name is Susie Nicholson and I'm the course coordinator. And on the screen as well, you can hopefully see our students that are invited and that, who are going to come and share some of their learning experiences with you this morning. Okay, so before we talk, I just start the presentation. I'd just like to draw your attention to our website and strongly encourage you to look online in order to get more detailed information about the goals of the program, the structure, and also our admissions procedure. Okay, just briefly, and a quick overview of the double degree program in English language education. Three of our key features are depth, breadth, and choice. Through the BA&BED component, our courses are compulsory for all students. And here you get an in-depth exploration into a wide range of current pedagogic issues and also educational issues. Through the other components of the program, particularly the BA, the free electives, and the Common Core, there's a lot more flexibility. And here's an opportunity for you to tailor the program towards your own interests. There's also opportunities within the program to declare a minor and for students to undertake a research project in their final year in the form of a dissertation. A key component of our program is obviously the professional practicum. Our students now spend a total of 20 weeks teaching in primary schools and secondary schools in years 4 and 5, and our students will talk about that later. So why choose the Faculty of Education for the double degree program? On the screen, you can see some of our program tutors. We provide our students with experience, commitment, and passion. All of our course tutors have teaching experience in schools, particularly Hong Kong schools, and all have an in-depth knowledge of the local education system. Our colleagues as well are all very much actively involved in the Hong Kong educational community, sitting on panels within schools, within the EDB and also HKEAA. And they're also active researchers and strive to integrate their research into their teaching and into the program development. The faculty as well ranks very highly in the World University Rankings, ranking 5 and also 7. Okay, a key feature I think of a BA&BED program is the learning community that we strive to create with our students. Our students study in classes of around 30. We provide students with interactive and a highly collaborative learning environment. It's also a highly supportive learning environment whereby we give attention to our individual students' needs and strive to get to know our students on a personal and individual level. There's also very much a big part of our program is opportunities for students not to simply learn from tutors, but also learn from and with each other. And we also provide students with continuity of tutors across the years in the 5-year program so that students can build their relationships, not only with each other as peers, but also with the tutors. Okay, so that's a quick overview of the program. What we're going to focus on now for the main part of our session is our students' voices. Okay, so you're going to get an opportunity for students to share their own perspectives and their own learning experiences in our double degree program. Okay, so we're going to start with focusing on years 1 and 2. Our first 2 years on the program are very much foundational in nature. Our students do 4 compulsory courses in the BA&BED program. And then within the BA component, the students do 1 compulsory course and then they have freedom, flexibility to choose from a wide range of courses and also to undertake Common Core courses and free electives. Okay, so I'm going to invite our year 2 students. So Amy, Loris and Ricky have kindly come along this morning to share their learning experiences with you. Okay, so we're going to start with Amy. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Susie.
Hi,
everyone.
Good morning, Amy. So could you share with us how your experiences of transitioning as a student from secondary school to Hong Kong U?
Yeah, sure. So learning on the program is actually different from that of secondary school. In terms of support, students studying in this program can receive plentiful coaching and learning opportunities with a small class size. The intake number for the program is different from that of other programs in the university. Having around 30 students in a class allows us to be reporting closer relationship with each other easily, like a big family. Other than that, instructional scaffolding and individual support are also provided by teachers both during class and after the class time. We can ask questions for clarification and seek advice from our teachers, academic advisors, and student advisors. All of them are very willing to share their experiences and provide professional advice regarding transitions, academics, and part-time teaching opportunities.
That sounds really good. I've heard that uni life is very different from the secondary school life, we are allowed to make our own choices. Is that true, Amy?
Yeah, flexibility is allowed when we choose our courses and extracurricular activities. With flexibility, it is more important for us to maintain self-discipline and good time management because we will be responsible for monitoring our own learning progress. This is different from that in secondary school, in which teachers may supervise our academic advancement day by day. In our programs, you can also select the courses we are interested in on the list, and there are varieties of options. Loris, can you share more about the art courses available?
Sure, no problem. So primarily we're taking ENGL courses, which consist of English literature, literary studies, and English linguistics. Outcome, which focuses on the formation of language and how we look at language, and the linguistic courses, which focuses on different aspects of linguistics. For English courses, there's a wide variety of them to choose from. For example, post-colonialism, creative writing, sociolinguistics, etc. Although they're mostly in lecture mode, the tutorials are really inspiring and interactive. As for the linguistic courses, they focus more on linguistic theories and concepts, such as how various languages work or form or how they are acquired. We can also explore other courses offered by the arts faculty, like different languages, comparative literature, history, and even music.
Well, that's very interesting, but the course content seems so complicated. Would it be difficult for beginners or students to study? What if we don't understand?
I don't think we have to worry about that because for year 1 and year 2, there are mostly introductory courses which focuses on basic concepts. But if you really need more assistance, the teachers from the School of English and the Department of Linguistics are very helpful and supportive, and you can always ask them questions if you don't understand. And also, if you struggle with choosing the courses, you can always seek help from your academic advisors. How about the education courses? What do you think about them, Ricky?
Well, there are actually so many BA courses to take. For the compulsory courses, you will actually have classes with classmates of the same program and people from the other programs, such as those from science education and Chinese education. In those courses, you will learn three things, namely educational philosophies, local and global educational issues, and some practical teaching methodologies. Aside from the compulsory courses, we also have BA elective courses. In these elective courses, you will learn some educational theories and pedagogies coupled with some research skills useful for postgraduate studies.
Yeah, that's true. The education courses allow us to learn different theories, and we can put what we have learned into practice in our part-time teaching opportunities. In addition to theory-based learning you have mentioned, Ricky, are there any out-of-classroom learning opportunities?
Well, yes, of course, we actually have to take experiential learning courses, which offer you opportunities to try that out. In those experiential learning courses, you can either participate in local or overseas community-based practicum, which provides you hands-on experience on mentoring primary or secondary students. Well, besides, you will also have a chance to enroll in an immersion program in Australia. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, the program has been replaced by an online e-immersion program in partnership with the Princeton Institute. So that's all of our sharing, and now let me pass to other presenters.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Amy, Loris, and Ricky, so for providing an overview of the first 2 years. We're going to move across now to years 3, 4, and 5. Within these 3 years, there's a shift whereby our students spend a lot more time on the BA&BED component of the program and also within their professional practicums. So I'm going to invite 2 students now from year 4, Donald and Ribs. and then followed by 3 Year 5 students, YJ, Melody, and Eva, to share some of their learning experiences for the second half of our program. Okay, so if we start maybe with Donald. Hi, Donald.
Hello, good morning, Susie.
Hi, Donald. Can you share with us, I mean, you've been a student in school learning a language, so maybe can you share with us some new insights that you've gained into teaching, yeah, and how those, the methodologies that we teach you are similar to how you were taught yourself in primary and secondary school, or maybe primary school?
So I think the language lesson that I think many of us are used to in primary school is probably very boring, full of drilling, practices, memorization, or even dictation. However, in the BA&BED courses, we are taught brand new teaching methods that focuses a lot on the student involvement. So while many teachers might want a very quiet classroom, what we want to achieve is in fact a very noisy classroom, not in a bad way that is disturbing, but in a way where everyone can contribute and participate in the learning. So everyone raising their hands and chanting their answers is something that we really want to see in our classrooms, in our lessons. So as teachers, what we want to do is to discover students' inner potentials and talents, and there is no better way than letting students themselves take charge of their learning. So for example, in our primary pedagogy courses, our emphasis is on the delivery of meaning, and we try our best to make the lessons engaging, authentic, and meaningful for all students to participate. So a similar story also appears in our primary literacy courses, and we want students to develop the language awareness for different contexts and to use the appropriate language features, rather than the absolute language accuracy that I think sometimes it happens in the traditional classroom setting. So this really is an eye-opening experience for all of us in the faculty. And I think speaking of courses, maybe some of you might be concerned about the grading and assessment. So here at the faculty, in many cases, it's not about how well you teach that matters. Well, it matters slightly, to be honest, but more importantly, we're assessed on how thorough we can reflect on our strengths and weaknesses, because it is only through reflection can we improve. And actually, these 5 years at the faculty gives you the time and opportunity to make the mistakes so that you can learn from it and prepare yourselves for the future in the teaching profession. And speaking of this, our professional practicum is a major component of our program. I heard that Rips, you had a really good time at your school, right? Could you share us a bit more about it?
Yeah, sure. So after taking some of these literacy courses that Donald just talked about, the faculty will send us to a primary school in semester 1 of year 4, where we get to teach English for around 8 to 10 weeks. So I went to a school named SKH Yunchen Mountain Jubilee Primary School, and it was in Taipo. And overall, the experience was extremely rewarding for me. When you're at your practicum schools, you'll get a mentor that will guide and will supervise your progress. And fortunately for me, my mentor, Carrick, was also an HKU graduate. So he was very familiar with all the courses and all the training that we've undergone. And he really helped me out a lot with my planning and everything as well. But I think most importantly, getting to observe and shadow my mentor was really eye-opening, because you get a first-hand account that being a teacher is more than just, you know, marking students' homework. There's like a lot of administrative work that is required, because these courses at university, they help you with preparing on how to teach, but when you're actually at a school, you realize that you have a lot more duties to carry out. And another thing that Carrick taught me was to plan everything ahead, especially for your lesson plans, because you know, each individual student in your classroom is going to have diverse learning needs, and you really need to cater to them to the best of your abilities. And sometimes you also have to teach like 2 to 3 different classes in the same day. So it really helps for you to plan well and to plan ahead, and also to have like your mentors evaluate the plans with you too. But besides the help of the mentors, HKU professors will also come and observe our lessons sometimes. And just like what Donald said earlier, in our faculty, the most important thing is reflecting on your own strengths and weaknesses. And one thing I really value is how all the professors that come and visit us really take their time out to help us understand our teaching styles better. There's no right or wrong. It's just to find what, you know, you work with the best. So yeah, the support and the mentors and HQ professors provide really feels like a blessing. And I can't wait to see what new things, you know, the year 5 professional practicum will have in store for us.
Okay, thank you, Donald and Rips, for sharing your experiences. So that you were talking more about year 3, right? In the beginning of year 4, when we focus on primary. The second part of year 4, and then all of year 5, our students then shift from focusing on primary language education to secondary language education. Okay, so I'm going to invite YJ, Melody, and also Eva to share some of their experiences from year 5, not just of the course, but also their plans as well for the future now that they're coming up to graduation. So hi, YJ.
Good morning.
Hi, YJ.
Hi.
So hi, can you share with us a little bit about your new insights into language education through the program, focusing on maybe on your year 5 studies?
Right. So I would like to talk about the BA&BED courses first, so educational courses. So I think one of the strengths that education courses has is that the courses suggest ideal and innovative ways of language teaching that we can use as teachers. But at the same time, the courses implement these strategies in the course for our learning as well. So for example, the courses implement a task-based learning approach and flipped learning approach where the lessons are not only about listening to the professor, but also about us participating in different activities and tasks so that the learning occurs by doing. And which is, I feel more confident as a teacher to implement these strategies in my real life teaching because we have learned under this ideal environment. And of course, year 5 students are not only taking educational courses, but we also have a lot of freedom, especially in semester 1, to take other courses of our choice. So I've decided to take sociology as my minor and was able to complete my study with a minor in sociology. And I know that Melody is graduating with a second major in music, and Eva is a second language in comparative literature. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I know. So I know that a lot of our classmates are graduating with an extra minor or major. And recently we have finished our professional practicum. And so Melody, would you like to share your practicum experience with everyone?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, YJ. So this semester we did our 2-month professional practicum in different local secondary schools. So we were assigned one junior and also one senior secondary class. So personally, I had English lessons with my Form 2s every single day. And sometimes I would co-teach some of the Form 5 and Form 6 students. So I would say I was able to teach around 10 lessons per week. So during practicum, and I think YJ and Eva, you guys would agree, we could really get a taste of what it's like teaching in a secondary school because, you know, we had opportunities to plan lessons, teach in the classroom, and of course this year teach online because of COVID. And we could mark students' homework and also some of their past papers and mock papers. And so it's almost like we had a taste of what a full-time teacher would do. And I know it may sound a little bit overwhelming at first, but then we actually received a lot of support throughout practicum. So we had 1 or 2 mentors from our practicum schools. I could observe my mentor's lesson, and sometimes I would co-plan and co-teach with them as well. And whenever I had questions about my students or about the school, I could just ask them, and they were so supportive, and they would just help. They were always there for us, and I could just ask them anything. And we're also each paired with a teacher ambassador. So they are experienced teachers from other local secondary schools, and they came to observe one of our lessons and also gave us a lot of useful advice. And of course, our teachers from Hong Kong U, they're also very supportive. And they would really spend a lot of time giving us feedback on our lesson plans, materials, and they would come and observe some of our lessons and give us feedback on our classroom teaching as well. And they're just one WhatsApp message away. We can just text them, and whenever we're stuck and we need a good teaching idea, we can just ask them. And YJ just shared with all of you some of the new teaching practices and approaches we've learned at HKU. And I think during practicum, that's when we can
that's when we can really put those into practice, experiment and explore different teaching methods and different teaching approaches. And through doing so, I think that we're really able to develop our own teaching skills, our classroom management skills, and have hands-on experience of learning to build rapport with our students. So overall, I would say this practicum experience was really positive, and it's made me more confident and just more passionate about teaching overall. And I now have a better understanding of my own strengths, and also areas that I'd like to improve on and work on in the future. And I do feel more prepared to teach in a secondary classroom now, and I'm just really excited for the future. So I know there's another amazing experiential learning opportunity, and that's the student exchange program. Personally, I didn't go, but Eva, I remember you went to Amsterdam in year 3, right?
Yeah,
would you like to share with everyone a little bit more about your experience?
Sure, yeah. So as Melody mentioned, I went to Amsterdam for my exchange, but as I know, a lot of some of us also went to the UK, like Donald, Ripon, Dip, and YJ. Is that right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you all went to UK, and I decided to go to Amsterdam, where I studied a lot of different electives, which I normally wouldn't have studied at HBU because I don't have the time. For example, philosophy. And I actually liked my time in Amsterdam so much that I'm going back to study masters at the University of Amsterdam in coming September, where I will be doing further studies in English literature. So as YJ mentioned, I'm actually also majoring in comparative literature, which aroused my interest in culture and literary studies. So by studying masters, I want to enhance not only my language skills, but also my expertise in literary studies to prepare myself better for our profession in the education sector. And also more generally, I just want to go back and live in Amsterdam for a year and then maybe possibly travel around Europe if the COVID situation is all right before pursuing full-time work. And actually, speaking of full-time work, most of my classmates in this program have already secured a full-time position in both primary and secondary schools. So I know that YJ is going to be teaching in a primary school and Melody is going to be teaching in a secondary school. So actually studying this BA&BED program equips you with versatile skills and knowledge, which prepares you for a career not only in teaching, but also other disciplines. So maybe Susie can talk a little bit more about different career prospects.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. So yeah, I'll just carry on sharing briefly, and then we'll move on to Q&A. Okay, so opportunities beyond graduation. As Eva just said, most of our year 5 students, I think the vast majority, have now secured a position either in a primary or secondary school. The majority of our students do actually go on to English language teaching in Hong Kong schools. As you can see here, this has a very clear career structure and also a very nice pay scale. Okay, so our students generally start around this area, and then some of our students move up into senior management, and some aspire towards becoming principals in the future as well. In addition to teaching, of course, our program does also allow you to pursue other fields, so civil service, human resources, and like Eva, a lot of our students also go on to do postgraduate study and research, either immediately after graduation or having maybe taught for a year or 2. A lot of our students actually come back to the Faculty of Education to pursue their masters. Okay, so for you, our attendees today, I know this is a difficult time for you, a big time for decision making where you need to think carefully about your future. I've tried to explain a little bit about the program, give you some reasons for why you might consider Faculty of Education for the BA&BED, and hopefully our students' sharings have given you some insights into students' learning experiences as well. Some possible reasons that you might have in your mind for thinking about the program, like you want to come to Hong Kong U, you want to do 1 extra year so that you can get a double degree rather than a single degree. Maybe your parents want you to do the course. Maybe that 2 months in Australia for immersion program might be something that appeals to you as well. But I'd like to say that none of these are particularly good, strong reasons for choosing a degree, okay? You need to think very carefully about whether or not our program suits you, whether or not you really genuinely have an interest in language, and particularly in language education and teaching. Okay, so I urge you to look at our website very, very carefully and read in more detail about what our program offers. So just very quickly, what kind of students are we looking for? In our evaluation of our students very much, or prospective students, is very much holistic in nature. We look for obviously academic excellence generally. We're also very keen to admit students who have an interest in English language and linguistics, and also high English language proficiency. We particularly want to admit students who have a genuine interest in education and also in language teaching. As well as your academics, we're very much interested in knowing more about your interests and your experiences beyond school, maybe beyond DSE. And we're very much looking for students who have inquiring, critical minds, students who maybe want to make a change to society and to students learning in Hong Kong schools. Our admissions process then is basically, first step, we will look at your DSE results. A key thing to remember is that in order to be considered for our program, we require applicants to put for JUPAS, at least anyway, to put as in band A, either 1, 2, 3, ideally your first choice in band A to show your real commitment to the program. We also look at your personal statement. We strongly encourage, if you haven't already submitted a personal statement, we encourage you to really focus on this because it's something that we spend time reading. And then our final stage is having looked at your DSE results and your banding, which order you've put us in or which band you've put us in, your personal statement, we then invite applicants for an interview. And the interview is very, very important part of our admissions process. Okay, interviews will take place in end of July, early August, and they will take place 1 interviewee and 2 interviewers. And we try and make it as natural, non-threatening, stress-free as possible. Okay. So our final words for you then, I know you've finished your DSE, hooray. Good luck for your results. And also think carefully about your choices. You've got chances now to make changes to your JUPAS listings. Think carefully, please do look at our website carefully and consider carefully if you think this is the program for you.